Actual Fluency Podcast, episode 33 with Alberto Arrighini.
Welcome to the Actual Fluency Podcast, the podcast that gives you the tools and inspiration to learn languages faster and more efficiently. And now your host, Chris Broholm.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Actual Fluency Podcast. My name is Chris Broholm, as per usual, and I'm bringing you episode number 33 of the Actual Fluency Podcast. For way more information about language learning, about me, or anything you might be interested in regarding learning languages, go to actualfluency.com. I have lots of cool stuff there for you. Today is a little bit different, and the reason that it's different is that me and Alberto talk about not so much learning languages specifically. We talk about personal development and sort of the motivation behind putting the hours in that is required to learn a language. And you know, I'm always totally honest and upfront with you guys out there. So today I just wanted to say that, you know, the way that I find guests are, you know, of course I talk to people who are prolific language learners who can share their experience. People who have developed products, people who have courses and classes and whatnot. But I also really love to take problems that I'm having and then asking people who have kind of ideas on how to improve them. And one of the problems that I've been having lately is to do with motivation. And although I've had a lot of motivation to put in for language learning, maybe unusually high motivation, I've really struggled in my day-to-day life. And I know that I've struggled with motivation for learning languages before. So, you know, it's kind of it turns around. Sometimes it's one topic I'm not motivated for, and sometimes it's something else. And I saw Alberto on Facebook, and he was posting all these, I'm up at 5 a.m. and, you know, he's reading all these motivational books and inspirational books, entrepreneurial books, and all that stuff really interests me. And I know that it also interests some of you guys out there. But basically, I just wanted to get Alberto on to talk about this because I think it's a hugely important topic, and it's something I only just discovered the tip of the iceberg of. And the episode today is probably the most motivating that there's ever been on the podcast. So I'm super excited that you're going to listen to it because I'm sure it's going to help you with whatever you want to do in your, you know, your language learning career or anything really. I mean, the tips that we talk about today are so useful in every area of your life, whether it's cleaning your room or, you know, taking out the trash or anything you wanted to do is kind of works under this umbrella that is self-development and motivation. So I hope you really enjoy the episode today. And also this kind of topic of self-development, motivation, personal development in general is something that I'm going to write about on the blog in the upcoming months because I'm really fascinated about this topic, about improving oneself. And I think one of the ways that we can upgrade our lives or upgrade our characters is by learning more languages. So I think fundamentally, if you are interested in learning languages, you're also interested in developing your persona, self-development, self-help, all these things that can guide you towards that success that you're craving, whether that is, you know, success in learning languages, success in your school, career, anything that's related to life. So I hope you will enjoy these posts coming up on Actual Fluency in the next few months that kind of tackle these sort of general problems that is not specific to language learning, but definitely helps it. So with that in mind, I just want to say, as always, thank you so much for listening. And it would mean the world to me if you took the time to leave a review of the podcast. You can do that on iTunes if you're subscribed there. You can go to actualfluency.com/iTunes to be sent to the page. You do need an Apple account or something funky to do it. So, you know, it's a big ask, but I really appreciate it. And as a thank you, you know, I occasionally send the people who review the show free italki lessons. So, and there's a little shout out to italki as well. They've been very generous lately with sponsoring a lot of, you know, free vouchers for you guys out there. So just a quick shout out. If you're interested in language learning lessons with professionals or, you know, community tutors, I recommend italki. I use it every single week. So, you know, it's not just a hollow kind of endorsement. It's a full on endorsement. But enough of me yappering about. I know you're all pumped up to hear more from Alberto about how to change your life, how to be more motivated, and just how to be awesome, I guess is the subtitle. So I hope you enjoy, and let me know in the comments or anywhere you can reach me, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, what you think of this kind of new theme I'm bringing up on Actual Fluency, this self-development theme about improving yourself, not necessarily restricted to languages. I'd love to hear what you think. Well, fantastic, everyone. I'm joined today by probably one of the most motivating people on Facebook, in my opinion, Mr. Alberto Arrighini. And I met him the first time at the Polyglot conference in Berlin, and we became friends on Facebook. And since then, I have been met with a flood of posts about working out, running, healthy meals, drinking water, and everything. And just like everyone else out there, I have problem with motivation sometimes. So I thought I'd get Alberto on here and talk about all his discoveries in self-help and motivation, and sort of help us out with how to become better language learners. But first of all, Alberto, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's cold here in Italy, like everybody, speaking of the weather at the beginning. And thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Yeah, I'm doing great. I see that you're doing great too. So great. Awesome.
My pleasure. We're all great. We're all great.
Great.
And you're right. It's sort of normal to start the podcast with how the weather is in the country. I don't know if that's special for language learners. We want to know about other cultures, but the weather here is fine.
Always fine.
All right. So Alberto, if you could give the people who might not have heard of you, a little introduction to yourself, sort of when did you start learning languages, and how long have you been doing this?
Of course. Okay. Everything started 3 years ago, actually, for me. I was in a high school where the main subject was math. I don't know how to say in English, but math and physics, I think you understand. And I decided to change. I thought that wasn't for me, math and physics. And I said, let's change school. I went in a high school where languages were the main thing. I was a bit disappointed, and I started to learn how the system doesn't really work while teaching languages. And I said, let's see online what's about. I found Luca. I found all these guys, polyglots, and Steve Kaufman. They speak 10, 20 languages. At the beginning, I thought they were like geniuses, but then you start to understand that it's not about that. It's about consistency, loving what you do. And that's how I started to understand a lot of things. I started to learn English in a different way, because at 16, 17, just 2-3 years ago, my English was so bad. I thought, I'm good in English at school. I have 8. But at the time of watching movies and everything, I couldn't understand nothing. And even right now, I'm going to make mistakes in English. You know why? Because 10 years of school, learning only grammar and not listening to the language, have really made my English stuck. I have to think past perfect and these things. No, so I said, why not after 1 year from that point? Why not to learn some languages by myself? I learned Romanian, French, Spanish. I can speak them quite well right now. And I'm learning right now German and Russian. So I started to open a blog where I teach Italian through these natural methods 1 year and a half ago, something like that. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, yeah. Great. And how did you kind of choose these languages? It sounds like they were a little bit all over the place. Can you walk us through that?
So Spanish and French were the new languages that I was going to study at school, at the other high school, but they were so bad, 2 hours of French per week. And you think that you're going to learn French 2 hours per week, not listening to the language, listening to the teacher talking about grammar. And I said, what the beep? So I decided to learn it by myself at home, and that's how I found out how to learn languages and these kind of things. And the other language, Romanian, is because my father is a hunter. Sorry for everybody loving animals, not hunters, but he's a hunter in Romania, and I have friends there, so I said, okay, this is my first trial, the first language all by myself. It worked out pretty well, and that's why I decided to open the website, because I found out that it was very, very useful, that method. And now Russian and German, because they were on my list. So if something's on the list, you're going to do that.
Right.
Okay?
and it must have been, even when you're so motivated and you have the personal connection, learning Romanian must still have been difficult for you.
Yeah. It was very, very easy. It is a Latin language Romance language, actually. And so I'm Italian. I knew French, Spanish. It's like when I'm going to learn Portuguese, it is going to be very, very, very easy.
Oh, okay. So you found it easy to learn Romanian.
Yeah. It's very, very. I think like for you, knowing English and German, if you're going to learn Dutch, I don't know if you already know it, Dutch, it is going to be very, very easy, I think, for you because you have a lot of similarities. It's going to be really, really easy.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. And so you started the website to sort of help people learn your own language, the Italian.
Yeah.
And it's called... what's that?
Yeah. Because as you do, when you learn new things, you want to share it. So that's why you opened, I think, this channel, the website, the podcast. That's all about it, to share.
Yeah, exactly. And in my case, it's also sharing that you don't need to be that genius like you first discovered, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. Not really.
Anyone can do
the things you do. Exactly.
Awesome. And then you started the site Italiano Automatico?
Yeah, Italiano Automatico. And there I teach Italian through, it's a new way of teaching Italian because actually I teach it through things that you probably would like to read also in your language. No? So the whole concept is that one. You are going to learn Italian, reading stuff in Italian that you will find interesting also in your native language. So you're not even thinking about, learning Italian. Of course, to do that, you need that basic knowledge, and that's the most difficult part in every language, that beginning part,
right,
where you have from nothing to something, where you can start doing things you like. So how do you do that? You do that through Assimil, Teach Yourself, Colloquial, Pimsleur, Michel Thomas, podcasts that are very easy, and this stuff. And it is something that we have to go through.
Right.
When there will be a man that will create something like very interesting at the beginning, that will be a success.
Oh, so that's a business idea for people out there.
Yeah. Of course.
If you can make the hard early part of a language very interesting, then you'll have a big seller.
Yeah, exactly. They tried it with Pimsleur and many things, and they are kind of, it's okay, but after a while you say, damn, I want something different. So you change, you try to mix things up. That's it.
Yeah, I think some people do get excited about like a textbook, and they can kind of dig their head in, but that's definitely not me. That's very hard for me to focus on a textbook for a foreign language and then have your headset in and you're like,
yeah, exactly. Especially with the distraction of today, like everything is going so fast, and to stay there, concentrate, focused. It's difficult. It's possible, maybe 10, 20 minutes, but after a while you start to look around what's happening. It's difficult. Every person has a different way of doing that.
Yeah. But of course, one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you on was to share your, I would say, passion for self-development, because that's something you've done a lot of, and I can see it. You know, you post links all the time on Facebook, and I just want to ask, when did that kind of come in your timeline? When did you discover that you could actually improve yourself to improve your life?
That's an awesome question. I think I love this question because actually it was casually. It happened casually. I found on the internet a book that was Leader di te stesso in Italian. It will be Leader of Yourself. I said, that sounds interesting. I've always been curious, like reading stuff about history and this stuff. It was okay, let's see what he says. On the cover there was like a person like that, like this. Okay, this guy wants to sell me a book, and then it's good enough, you know. For many people, it's like that. They say, "Oh, this is just one that wants to make money with you." But I'm not so cynical. And in any case, I like to be open-minded. And I said, "Okay, let's buy it. Let's see it." And I started to read about Anthony Robbins. I don't know if you know about Anthony Robbins or Napoleon Hill. And all these people around the personal development thing. And I didn't know what it was personal development. It was, and then I discovered it's whatever is about improving yourself. It's not something it's just improving yourself. They can be autobiographies or videos on YouTube. That's all personal development. And so I followed the suggestion of this book, and from there I was like, bam! I was like books on personal development in 5 languages, reading it in the last year of high school. Like while the teacher was talking, I was reading a personal development book in Romanian.
Wow.
Like the desk, And so everything started from that, because you start to understand the thoughts that you have and how you can change the things you don't like. And that's powerful. I mean, everything starts from there. How to use your mind and these things. When you can control that, you start to feel a sense of control on your life. And that's all we want, the freedom to live how we want. No? And these things, reading this stuff helps. I have here the books of Phelps. Yesterday I got it. And you see how he thinks, how he did that, how he achieved that. And you start to think about these people as not as normal people, but like really hardworking, determined, with the persistence people. Not special at all. Special, but that you can be like that too if you want. Mm-hmm. So that's all about it.
Fantastic. And were you into reading when you picked that book up, or?
No, that's another thing, because I went from nothing to like 300 books right now.
Oh, like, really?
50 books at this moment, like in the evening, in the morning. It's because I found something that was interesting to me. That's the whole point. It's like, I mean, if someone's seeing he's afraid of something, like real afraid of driving or real afraid of whatever, like speaking in public, and you see a book about it, you start to read and you start to see, oh, there's a solution for that. Reading is not about reading anymore. It's about, I'm finding a way to overcome this fear and this stuff. And wow, this man had this fear too. Oh, that's another book about this. Oh, this guy. I mean, for every problem we have, there's a book about it. That's powerful. I find it amazing. Really? Right.
And do you think the activity of reading, let's ignore what you are reading, do you think the activity of reading a book, sitting down and thinking, do you think that in itself helped you, or do you think it's mostly what was in the books that helped you?
I think it was what was in the book, because I read something when I was 12, 13. I think it was Harry Potter, mm-hmm. the saga. I read it up to the 5th book, but that I must say that did nothing to improve my life. So apart from entertainment, of course, enjoying the book, but that was entertainment, like PlayStation and these computer games and this stuff. When I started to read things that made me think, that was the shift. Because while you're reading this stuff, you start to think about what you do, how you do things, how you can improve them, and like idea pops up everywhere. Like every morning, I'm reading this magazine that is Success Magazine, mm-hmm. for 10 minutes, and it gives me like 10 ideas like every morning, and that's powerful. It's like, it's not a magazine; it's ideas from successful people. So that's what I like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. And, you know, I told you before we started recording, I sort of discovered this 2 months ago or something, but I've been struggling not to, let's say, I understand a lot of the concepts and I'm beginning to understand why we do as we do. But how did you sort of convert knowing what to do to actually freaking doing it? Because I think that's what most people struggle with, right?
Exactly. That's another thing that I was asking myself the last year, because there is a quote that says, the more you know, the more you do. And someone changed that in the more you know, the more you can do. And that can is the powerful thing, because I gave to friends when I discovered these things. I gave to my friends maybe a book or to other explain the same thing. Passed like one day to tell him, because they asked me like, why are you running a marathon? You were the last in the class. Why are you learning 7 languages? Why in the classroom? Why you're in the gym at 5 a.m.? Like, and they asked me. Some friends are going to ask me that, and I tell them. But to someone, there's a shift. They're gonna do something, and someone else is not going to do nothing with the same information. So the point is, I think that Jim Rohn, it's a business philosopher of United States of America, said that he called this the mystery of life, because people just like wake up and you want to change your life, and some people just don't. And I love that, because I found it a mystery as well. It's like, why someone listening to a sentence says, wow, and tomorrow he's going to start to change everything And from 1 year from now, he's like another man, a millionaire, and whatever. Maybe not 1 year, 5 years, let's say. And why other people listening to the same information don't do that?
Yeah.
My thought about that was that maybe it depends on our experiences and what happened before to us. Because if to me happened like someone robbed me or tried to convince me of one thing and that didn't work, the next time I'll hear about it, I'll say, oh, that's not true, and I don't do nothing. And so maybe that's it. But I like to call it like the mystery of life, like Jim Rohn.
Right.
Yeah.
So what motivates Alberto to get up at 5, for instance? Do you have anything where you think, I'm going to be amazing, or do you have anything you draw on? Is there an Arnold's quote, or, is there anything specific you can tell us about your own?
I can indeed.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing that you could ask me, because that's the whole point of this. How can you wake up at 5 a.m.? How can you learn 7 languages? How can you not sleep when you're tired? How can you do every day something towards your dream? No. And that's what I love, because it's all about vision. I listened to, I think it was 10 hours of videos of Arnold Schwarzenegger on YouTube. Everything there was on YouTube, I watched everything. And I created a video for myself to watch every day, and like an inspirational movie for myself from 10 hours of videos. And he talked most of the time, like 1 out of 2, it was you have to have a vision. And people don't know what a vision is, but like Michael Phelps, that was there, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, they all talk about vision. What was that vision like 2 years ago? I didn't understand it, but now I of course I understand it after I spent so much time with these books and applying it to me. And it is knowing where you're going. The most important book that was written by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, said that knowing where you're going, knowing your purpose, where you're going, it's the most important thing, because that's your why. Without why, you can't do nothing. There are a lot of stories about the power of why. I mean, there was like a child under a car on fire, and he was like gonna die. No, 2 people tried to get him off the car, and they couldn't. After a while, a woman went there and like super strong, like he moved the car. The child was safe, and they told the woman, "How did you do that?" And he said, "That was not your child." And that's amazing to me, because the why for her was bigger than the 2 men, and he moved the car that they couldn't. And away from the concept of the car, away from this thing in particular, I think the concept is amazing, because when you have a why, when you know where you're going, like waking up at 5 a.m., I tell myself, like, if I'm not going to do that, my dream will be back from me like for other 6 months, every day that I don't do that.
That sounds like Eric Thomas.
It's like exactly Eric Thomas. I think I heard it from him, because I have some inspirational videos that I put on my car while heading to the gym.
Oh, wow.
Like wake up at 5 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I think I know which ones. I also watch those.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
It was the last from Mateus. I don't know if you know him. He's a YouTuber that does them. But anyway, that's the most important thing, because you have to know where you're going, an idea of how your life will look like. And now, for example, I see myself in 5 years with the body that I want, like other 5 languages or 4 or 5 languages. So that's why every day I do my Russian and German, because if I don't do that, I will feel so bad. And when I will be 30, if I haven't done that, like a failure. But another important thing is to write down your goals. Michael Phelps, in the book that I showed before, said he wrote down everything, because he went to the swimming pool every single day for 5 years. Wow. Christmas Day, his birthday. Wow. I mean, it made me feel like, I'm doing nothing. So I from these people that I also decided to start at 5 a.m. because if you start at 5 a.m., you're like at 9 you've done so much and that you feel so powerful. Like, okay, you have to go to bed. I go to bed at 10:30, but it's a sacrifice that I want to make right now. Of course, many people don't understand that. They tell you, oh, this guy is crazy. He's going to bed 10:30. It's 19. What? But I'm happier now than when I was 18 going to the disco. So that's the point. If it is something that makes you happy and because you are in the pursuit of your goals, that's the main point. And you have to know, of course, the goals. If you don't have a goal, you can't do it. You wake up and you're going to say, oh, there's a YouTube videos that I want to see. It's funny. And because you have no reason why not to see it, you say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. But when you have a goal, you put, you write your goals with date, you're going to stick to it. You're going to stick to it. If you have that vision and this why, that is powerful.
Right. And do you on a daily basis have a little quiet time and think about your why, or is it strong enough for you now so that you can sort of just ride off of it?
Okay, so there was a time I've tried everything because I'm still in the process. I mean, I keep on reading, I keep on growing. I'm just 19. It's been 3 years right now. So I'm in the process of doing that. And I've done many things. One was the Arnold video. For example, I used to watch it like 30 minutes in the morning. So you start, because another thing very powerful is suggestion, auto-suggestion that you can do to yourself. And like people that wanted to acquire a mindset, they kept on listening to a person talking about that. And that's what I was doing with Arnold. Like today, listening to 30 minutes to him, I was acquiring his mindset. Like when I was tired, I was thinking like him. Like I was thinking his words. Like you need to sleep 6 hours a day.
Yeah, you need to sleep faster.
You need to sleep faster. Exactly. Sleep faster when I was tired.
Yeah. So I love Arnold.
Yeah, exactly. When you have these spots in your mind, like them, results are gonna be sooner or later like theirs. And that's incredible because everybody can do that. If you choose a person that you like, whatever is your mentor or guy you admire, I don't know, you admire Luca, his style of learning languages, create a movie of Luca, like 1 hour about motivation and this stuff from every video he made, and you're going to watch it every day, 10, 20 minutes, and then after 2 months, if you get bored with it, you go another person. Right now I'm creating another one with hundreds of successful people for myself to see. So that's there are many things you can do. You can read books. You can start to write down every morning 5 minutes your goals. You can close your eyes and visualize it. So many things, and you can use all of them or one of them. It's your choice. And then you're going to discover them while reading, while improving, while talking to people, and all this stuff.
But I think just to summarize there, what you said was that do something that has something to do with your why or your dreams every day. Like you can't just wake up and just go start doing whatever you're doing. You have to kind of start with the why, right?
Exactly. Oh, and another important thing is the morning routine. This thing changed the whole game for me. I started doing that when I was at high school because I was waking up at 5 a.m. in the last year as well. So to tell people it's not because right now I finished high school and I'm at home that I'm doing that. The opposite, actually. I did that because I wanted to do 30 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of sport in the morning, also while at high school. And I woke up at 5, eat breakfast, I did this whole thing of sport, read in different languages, and then take the bus. While on the bus, listening to French. So, that's the point. No excuses. If you want to do something, you're going to do that. At that time, I slept 5-6 hours because in the evening I had to do homeworks and these things. Right now, I go before. But and then I take, of course, I took a nap of 1 hour in the afternoon. It works for me. And if you want to do something, you do it. I mean, there's no no excuse. And the morning routine sets you up for the day. That's why it's so important. Just 2 minutes talking about it, because if you have like Darren Hardy, famous writer, the publisher of Success magazine, the one I showed you, puts a lot on this morning routine, because if you start every day like with a morning routine, that's one thing that you'll do every day. So if it is like that hour where you do sports, reading, and breakfast, you have it every day, and you start the day in the right way. Right now I'm doing that the same way, reading, breakfast, and gym. I come back that I start with Italiano Automatico, Russian, German, and whatever. But it's so important to set up a morning routine to create the motivation, because it's not about always being motivated, but to create routines that after a while are automated. Like, I don't know, if you do that thing for 60 days or 100 days, then you don't have to think about it. Right now, I still have to think about my routine, because they are not 100 days or 60, but for German and Russian, I do that automatically. It's 1 year right now, 30 minutes a day. I can do teach yourself, assimil, YouTube videos, German and Russian. It's not something I have to think about it.
Right.
I have to think about if in the evening I didn't do that because I feel bad. And that's when you won, because when in the evening or after having not done that, you feel bad, it means that there's kind of a routine, a habit in you. And that's when you win, because when you have the habit, you just don't have to stop that thing. Please don't stop. I lost so much time stopping habits, because to retake them, it's difficult. It takes a long time to retake the habit.
Right. And I guess the proof of the fact that habits exist like that is that just look at all your negative habits. If you watch TV every day, that's not hard, is it? Because it's a habit. So if you change it, you just need to work hard. And I guess the problem is many people do it for, let's say, 2 weeks or something, and they say, oh, it's not sticking. And
Exactly. I agree completely. When I came back from school, 15, when I wasn't a reader or nothing, just a normal guy, back from school on the couch, eating sweets, chocolate, loved it. I was so happy. Watching cartoons and everything, playing video games. But you're happy today, you're happy tomorrow, you're happy maybe 7 days. But when you see you and another guy with different habits from 2 years from now, you maybe, I don't know, I was probably going to be fat, and that guy was going to be, I was going to be fat, financially broke and whatever. And that guy, trim, fit, knowing multiple languages, going up financially. And that's the difference. You don't have to see the difference months, not even maybe 1 year. But when you start to 2 years, 3 years, the difference is like huge.
Right.
It's like huge. There are so many examples. Like, I'm going to make you one. If you start with the 2 airplanes, and this one is just 1 millimeter out of direction, and the other one like 1 centimeter, let's say, and the other one 1 centimeter here, they're going to be like this for much time. After like, let's say, a lot of time of travel, one is going to be here in New York and the other one in Miami.
Right.
So the difference in the long term is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Just for the people out there, it is of course an audio podcast. So I just wanted to give an example. Tony Robbins said that he doesn't play golf or anything, but he tried golf one time and he had a coach, and he hit like 200 meters off of the field where he was supposed to hit. And the coach told him, oh, you're just a millimeter off. And he said, a millimeter? What are you talking about? I was 200 meters off. And he said, because of the way a golf club is made, it's an angle, that 1 millimeter angle translated to 200 meters of the wrong way.
That's crazy.
I guess that's another way of describing this. Fix 1 millimeter and...
the perfect example. Exactly. You got it all right. That's really about it. And the same is with position on athletes. Like Tiger Woods is the first. He's going to take like 3 times the price of the second one. It's all about that daily practice, that day more where you stick to that while the other guy was already at home in the shower. It's all that daily thing.
Right.
That little thing, really.
It's fantastic. What is it? It's one of the bodybuilders who say that championships aren't won in the arena. They're won in the millions of hours in the training room, in the labs, and in the 5 a.m. runs, right?
Greg, I think it is. That's Greg played, yeah?
Yeah, right. I love him. He's pretty cool. It's funny how all the bodybuilders are doing all these motivational stuff. Why do you think that is? It's just so hard.
How old they are?
No, why when you type motivation into YouTube, 95% of the videos show some kind of bodybuilder talking about success.
Because right now that I'm really into gym, because it is the gym is one. It's why it fascinates me so much, because it is something that if you're not consistent, if you're not willing to improve every day and listen to other people and learn from other people, you're not gonna get that body. It's like taking away people taking steroids and other stuff too much. But to get it naturally, it's like years and years. Every day you have to watch what you eat every day, or at least 6 days a week. But it should be even more. And it's eating 6 times, getting your sleep, putting the hour every day, because if you don't put the hour of work, it's not gonna break the muscle tissue and not gonna grow. And that's crazy. Apart from the fact that it's really aesthetic and you look well after that, it's also the fact that your health improves, and of course many things. But the discipline and the vision that Arnold said that without that vision, he couldn't stay 5 hours in the gym. Of course, how can you stay 5 hours eating every day, all the things that you have to eat? 5 hours in the gym, posing, because in bodybuilding there are also things to get that body. You have also to pose, just like staying in the mirror to flex the muscle to bring out the definition. There are so many things. Every day you have to do that. Without that discipline, that vision. Because I think, in fact, because bodybuilding and these things, if you do it naturally, of course, includes a lot of this personal development stuff and these things. If you see, in fact, many of them, the best one read, I mean, they're muscular, and they're also smart because they read and they speak many languages. Maybe I don't know. They are business people. They're whatever. They're smart people, not only the body.
Right. Yeah, it's really incredible. I really love having digged into this, and I hope that the listeners out there will also have been, motivated a little bit to just find that why and move on, because learning a language is no different from becoming a bodybuilder or running a marathon. It's all about motivation.
Exactly.
So I want to thank you so much for coming on and helping me a lot. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing each other at 5 a.m.
Of course, I'm with you. There is a 5 a.m. club. You can sign up.
Oh, wow. 5 a.m. club.
It's just for 50 euros.
Oh, no. 50 euro penalty fee when you don't show up.
Exactly.
How's that? Awesome. Do you have any last shout outs, Alberto? Where can people find you? What are you working on right now?
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube. I have a channel where I teach Italiano Automatico, and the website is italianoautomatico.com. Yeah, it was Italian. Sorry.
It's okay.
Then I have a YouTube channel, Simply Learning 1994. Where I taught languages and spoke in different languages, or on Facebook, Italiano Automatico, the same page. Mostly I'm doing that, and I'm into bodybuilding and open a channel about fitness and health. I'm writing a new product and doing podcasts with people amazing like you, so I'm really happy.
Fantastic. Life's good. All right, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye, Chris.
Thank you for listening to the Actual Fluency Podcast. For more information, be sure to check out actualfluency.com. Until next time, enjoy learning and have a great day.
Psst. Thank you for listening to the end of the episode. As a thank you for listening all the way to the end, I'm going to give you a free italki lesson. And all you have to do is go to facebook.com/actualfluency, like the page, and just send me a message, the word rabbit in it, and I'll send you a code back.